All right.
Hey, I appreciate you doing this, Percy.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I really do. And I've wanted to kind of tap into your entrepreneur mindset for a long time. Love how you've transitioned
Yes.
and the courage that it takes to leave something and create something new.
Yeah, nah, it's all about growth, man. Don't be afraid to change. Don't be afraid to get better. And I feel like God continue blessing me. And I've been successful all these years because not being afraid to think outside the box, not being afraid to elevate. And I think a lot of people are afraid to elevate. They don't want to grow up. They don't want to change. They get stuck in their ways. And I've always been good at just, you know what? Let's figure out how to get better. So I think that's been the key to my success. It's been my strength. Just continue growing up and getting better and keep educating myself. So I think the most important thing, what people don't realize, success comes with education. The Bible say pray for wisdom, not for money. A lot of people pray for money. Like I've never done that. I've always said, if I educate myself, I can get better. I can grow as a person, and I could feed my family, and now I can feed other families and help more families besides my own. So it's a blessing.
So Percy, so when you're praying for that, when you're praying for wisdom, right? Then when the prayer's finished, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a person? Are you looking for a book? Are you looking for a network? What is exactly are you like expecting to get as a result of that prayer?
Well, you know what? I'm not expecting nothing. I'm expecting to put the work in after that. I'm just praying for that wisdom and knowledge and understanding. Information and knowledge is so important. It's almost like an athlete. An athlete train and prepare. I think for an entrepreneur, somebody that want to make it outside of that, you have to use your minds while other people, they might make their money using their muscle. But using your mind, I tell people all the time, product outweighs talent. Like, so when you think different and you think outside the box and you're using your mind, then you could have something forever and you could pass down and say, what I realized is all about having integrity. So I realize success is temporary. We can't take it with us. And it's all about doing what's right. And they say it's the hardest thing for a rich man to get into heaven than anything, because of lack of integrity, a lack of doing what's right. So you could have,
but it doesn't say it's impossible, right?
No, it's not impossible. So that's
right.
That's the great thing, and that's why I'm saying about what you leave here, the imprint that you leave on this earth. And I think that's what the thing is with me, is like I'm more focused on that. Like I don't make money for me. I make money to help others. I feel like my most important job is to be a servant. And that's what I'm here on. I'm here to be successful, to be able to help others. So I think that's the part that keeps me going and motivate me. It fight that fuel to where I'm ready to go. I get up every morning like running like an athlete. Like I gotta go. I gotta get ready. I gotta get ready for the big show, the big gig, the big game. In life in general, because life gonna knock you down so many times, and that's why I say God is so important to me in my journey. Because when you have those dark days or things don't go the way you wanted to go, you get back up knowing that the failures and the pain and the struggle, because I come from poverty. I didn't come from a wealthy family and nothing like that. I had to struggle. I had to get out there and work for mine. So those blessings, every day is a blessing for me. Life in general is a blessing. So I get up with that type of attitude. So I get up with the right attitude. So for me, praying, having something that's a higher power that I believe in, it helps me get up with that righteous attitude. I tell people all the time, my mentality is the lion mentality. I think like a lion, like a metaphor is the king of the jungle, but it's like that lion is not the biggest animal on the planet. But when he look at all the other animals, he look at it as food. And so that's why he don't fear nothing. He has that mentality to where it could be a big old elephant afraid of the lion because he think that he knows in his mind, he's already programmed that he's food in the lion. Like that elephant might be big, but that's just a big plate of food. Or the zebra might be taller. And I mean, the giraffe might be taller. And so when he see that giraffe, he don't see that giraffe as he see that giraffe as food.
Right.
And for me, I've been
Percy, is that the way you see money? You don't see money as something to use to buy stuff. You see it as a tool, something to kill. Yeah.
That's all I see it as a tool. And I want people to realize that the way you look at money, you don't look at money to use people, because, you use money. I love people and use money. So it's a difference, I think. And that's why my blessings keep coming. Growing up in poverty, growing up in the projects in New Orleans and not having anything. But like I said, my grandparents gave me an education. So some people say, well, I don't live with my dad or my mom. I grew up with my grandparents, and I was thankful for the education. So that's why I said I keep going back to this. Having success and having money, it all starts with the education. It don't matter whether you black, white, Asian, Latino. It don't matter. It's like, what are you investing in? Are you investing in getting better? You investing in your education? Because anybody could get money, but to hold on to money, you have to educate yourself and prepare. It's a process. I tell people all the time, trust the process. Whatever you get blessed with on a small level, I feel like God look at that, say, okay, well, if I'm gonna bless you, if I'm gonna bless you with something small, I want to see what you do with this small amount of money. And so if that make you evil or turn you into so imagine when you get a lot of money, what it's gonna do. And you might not get it, because if he can't trust you with a little, why should he trust you with a lot?
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you, so when you're making the transition from the music world to what you're doing today, and I'm not saying you're leaving that world completely, but how difficult was that transition? And then when you make that transition, Percy, how are you thinking about marketing? How important is marketing your new brand, who you're becoming, who you're coming out to be, and your purpose? How important is the marketing game?
Well, for me, the transition was easy because it's no different. Think about it. I'm in the music business, and I'm understanding marketing, distribution at the same time. And every business that I'm into is all about marketing and distribution. So that's why I say product outweighs talent. So I'll show you. I got product so these are my chips, the puffs, the soldier snacks.
You got to send me some of those.
I got to send you some soldier snacks. It represents my grandfather, Claude Miller. He fought in a war for our country. And every time you purchase a soldier snack, that's why I say the more we make, the more we give. We helping fallen soldiers that are our heroes that lost their lives. We want to help their kids and their families. So every time you purchase a product, that's what you're doing, is going back to helping these fallen heroes' families. So those type of things are important for me, that I'm able to do that. So I tell you, at the same time, I could only be an athlete or entertainer for so long. But this is building generational wealth. I mean, as a kid growing up in the projects, I grew up eating cereal. So now I have my own cereal, the Master Crunch. So I'm thinking to myself, if Kellogg's could be a big company and what they've done with product, how come Percy Miller can't build a big brand? All
I had when I was a kid, I had Captain Crunch, and
that's what I'm saying. Now you got Master Crunch. So
you came on top. I got to have some of that Master Crunch.
I got you. And then, we businessmen, we on the road, energy drink. That's the King Kong.
Let me see it. Turn it just a little bit so I can see the front of it. Oh yeah, nice.
So that's the energy drink. And then, another thing as a kid, so I started creating business with stuff that I grew up eating. So this the noodles. So I ate a lot of noodles as a kid. So I created my own brand.
Tell people what it says at the top, the little motto at the top.
Okay, you see what the motto say? There's no limit
to success.
There's no limit to your success. And I think we got to think outside the box. And I say I create a business, not on money. I create it on love and passion. So these things that I grew up on and that I grew up as a kid eating. So I say, you know what? I'm going to create these brands. So when I'm doing this and I'm out there selling this, I'm passionate about it because I love it, because I grew up on it. And I know that so many families are feeding their families off of this. And I'm also able to give back to help educate the next generation. So it's all about building economic empowerment. And like you said, the transition was easy for me because it's all about marketing and distribution. And that's what people on any business is, marketing and distribution. And I just think that a lot of people don't understand that. But once you understand that, we're giving y'all that free game. Any business is built on marketing and distribution.
Percy, if you were, it sounds to me like God is the central focus of your life and your reason, even for being successful. Like, am I right to say that you're driven? So, I'm by driven. Need to be successful to validate God's blessings on you.
Yeah, because I realized that I grew up in poverty, and I know without God I wouldn't be where I'm at. So my first thing was to be successful. It was all about me making it out. And then, you get to that phase of life and you say, you know what, if I did that, not even understanding, because I to be honest with you, when I first came up, I didn't understand what tithing was. So I didn't tithe. And then when I start realizing, what tithing is, and I start reading the Bible and I start saying, imagine this next go around with my business. I created millions. Now it's time to create billions. And doing that with God, I could feed more people. I could help more people. And I tell people how we measure success is about what you do with what you have, not what you have. Mm-hmm. And I realize now that my blessings coming from being able to help more people and to feed more families. And so now where I'm at now with my level of success, taking it to that next level, because I tell people all the time, so that's why I talk about failures. So everybody that's successful, they made it, they lost it, they figured it out, got back up. So you got to get back up on that horse. And so, everybody think they can ride that horse and they're going to stay on that horse. That's not reality. You'll ride that horse. If you never had $1 million, once you get $1 million, you're going to lose that. And then you want to figure something else out. If you educate yourself and you're smart enough to say, you know what, I made it that one time. Now let me figure out how to go back and get it again and how to hold on to it. And so that's where the education part comes from. And that's where the blessings come from. And that's why I put God first, because I said, if I made $1 million with not putting God first, imagine once I put him first. Now those millions turned into hundreds of millions, and it grew and grew. And that's what I mean by being able to know that it's a higher power in doing the right thing. Like I said, when I started tithing 10% of my money, I started making more money. Mm-hmm. And I was afraid to do that at first. I was like, nah, I'm not about to give 10% of my money to the church. And then when I start realizing that it's not about who the pastor or the preacher, because those are humans, that when I start doing my part, I started being fruitful. Like it being even more fruitful. So it's a blessing.
Do you think, Percy, that also started cracking that poverty mindset, the scarcity mindset that I think you and I both grew up in, coming up from Louisiana, where that scarcity mentality is so inherent in the society there?
Yeah,
I think the tithing, part of the tithing, the giving.
Because it taught you how to be faithful. Uh-huh. It also taught you discipline. It taught me at least that's what it taught me. It taught me how to be faithful. It taught me discipline. It taught me consistency. These are everything's in a business. Consistency. People say, well, why are you so successful? I'm successful because consistency. If you look at McDonald's and all these companies, they're not selling burgers, they're selling consistency. And that's what you are buying. And so at the end of the day, you're thinking like, why do I go there? I go there for the consistency. And so anything that I put up, I want to multiply, it has to be consistency. And so the same thing with tithing, doing the right thing when nobody's looking, you're going to grow, you're going to get better. Not being afraid to change, not being afraid to grow up. And that's why I talk about integrity, doing the right thing when nobody's looking. So you have to police yourself. And I think when I start realizing how good God is and putting him first, it just, because he wants us to be successful. He wants us to have nice things. And I think my faith helped take my business to another level, knowing because with having faith, you're going to do the right thing. And the growth, it's definitely going to grow. You planting those seeds. And not worrying about failure, because I don't worry about failure. I feel like if I do the right thing every day, I'm learning something from every mistake I make. And it's a blessing, man. It's definitely a blessing. And it's about staying focused.
Yeah, and the example you have set for so many people, and including myself, has been a great blessing for me. If let's pretend that you're on the come up today.
Yes.
How important would you make collaborating with other people that are more successful with you?
I mean, it's so important. I mean, you have to be able to celebrate other people and look at other people's success. I tell people all the time, I don't want to just run with people no more. I want people to push me. So I'm around people that's going to push me. Like me and you having this conversation, we pushing each other. Like, it's like, I don't want to be around people that's just going to run with me. I tell people all the time, you either walk with the pigeons or fly with the eagles. And so the eagles, they fly high. And I think having people that's going to push you, having people that are more successful than you, having people that are smarter than you. Like, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room. Like, I have no ego when it comes to, I hire the smarter people. So I go out and look for experts and put them on my team and pay them for their work. And I think a lot of people don't understand that part. You got to pay for what you want. If you want a successful business, you want successful people around you, you pay them their value. And I think that's what's keeping my business and my brands going, because I look for people that know more than me. And then I'm going to pay them their value, because that's going to create my company and make it even bigger and grow my company and grow my business. It's all about elevating what you have. If you want to have a bigger business, then you got to hire more employees. You got to hire smarter people. So you got to keep elevating. And that's what my life is about, constantly elevating, constantly growing, and looking for people that's going to push me. I'm tired of being around people that's going to run with me.
Yeah,
push me. I want to be around people.
So you would suggest that people, like, you grew up in the projects. I grew up in the lower middle class, single mother. Yeah. I had to leave my neighborhood.
Yes.
Literally had to get out of it. I had to force myself into a new environment where I was uncomfortable just to get any new information. Is that true for you?
Yeah, I mean, being uncomfortable is the most important thing. Sometimes you have to leave the environment where you're at to be able to see even clearer, to know, like, even get out to see something else. Basketball did that for me. It took me on the road. I was able to see other families that were successful and people that were successful, and it drove me to want to be successful. It drove me to want to do the right thing. And I think seeing other stuff, seeing other environments, it'll put something in your mind, because we love Louisiana. We from Louisiana, but at the same time, we had to go out and see something else to be able to bring more business back to Louisiana, and be able to help more families in Louisiana. We had to go somewhere else and make it. And I applaud that. Being uncomfortable, leaving your family, not being around the people that, because I tell people all the time, everybody has 24 hours. And if you're comfortable and you're doing the same thing, you're sitting on a corner, smoking, drinking, partying all day, you are not going to be successful. If you change that mentality, I'm not saying that you can't break those bad habits. I'm saying you have to spend your time wisely. And when you start spending your time wisely, you will start growing. And you'll start getting better, and you'll stop. Because think about it, when you live in a negative life and you speak in negativity, and then you end up being that negative person that's just putting that negative energy out there. And now you're so negative to where nobody don't like you. You hating on other people. And it shows. It shows in character. But if you break that and you're doing the right thing, I tell my kids, it's almost like getting an A on the test. When you prepare for that test and you get that A, you're so happy. You're so happy because you was prepared. And you're not mad at nobody else. If somebody else got an A, you happy for them. But when you hurting and you in a bad situation, then all you doing is bringing negative energy. You complain, you're talking about people, so you're wasting your 24 hours. And then you using all these different things to try to ease that pain. I tell people all the time, even when you look at addictions and alcohol abuse and stuff like that, people are trying to get rid of some type of pain. those bills are still going to be there tomorrow. So you imagine if you took that 24 hours and did something positive with it and constantly keep growing. I mean, I create so many business in my hard times because it made me work more. It's like, instead of getting down on myself, I'm like, you know what? Let me create something for the future. Maybe I'm not where I want to be at today, but tomorrow, next week, or next year, I'm going to be in a better place because I'm planting them seeds. And I think that the difference is most people want to be mushrooms. Mushrooms grow up overnight. I want to be that oak tree. It takes a long time to plant that tree. You might not see it. You can't see the vision, but you're about to have a big old tree that's going to be hard to knock down. And I don't want to be that mushroom, because mushrooms are everywhere.
They grow, and look what they grow out of.
Yes.
Hey, let me ask you, what would the term 10X mean to you, Percy?
Well, I think 10X is to me thinking outside the box, thinking big. For me, that's what I think about when I think about 10X. I think about no limit. I'm just thinking big.
Yeah. Well, I want to 10X some stuff with you, man. I know you and I together could do some big stuff, and I look forward to that. Last comments about somebody that grew up maybe in the same situation that you did.
Yeah.
What advice would you give that person with regards to money, and parts of success, staying away from the street corners, and then collaborating with the right people?
Yeah, I think.
And I'm not talking about formal education. I'm talking about beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody know where I'm at now. I wasn't always there, so you have to hold yourself accountable. Anybody that's in a bad place, that's trying to make it out, hold yourself accountable. Accountability is so important because everybody blame everything on everybody else. They blame it on their teacher. They blame it on their parents. They blame it on their coaches. They blame it on their relatives. People not there for me. People not doing this for me. What about what you are doing for yourself? If you want to get out of a bad environment, you have to break the negative, stereotypical curses that has been placed on you. I had it placed on me, but I said to myself, nobody's going to hold me accountable for my family members, my friends. I don't care what they do, whether they get in trouble, or they doing drugs, they committing crimes. You're not going to hold me accountable for that. If I'm going to do the right thing, I'm going to have to break a loose from them. I'm going to have to get from around them. So you are your worst enemy. Get out of your way. That's the advice I could tell you. Get out of your way. If you want to do right, if you want a great life, you got to go get it. Everybody say, well, what I need to do, they think, well, P, you got all this money. I know. I lived in a project with 16 people with my grandparents. So I never had a bed till I went to college. So stop making excuses. Wow. If you want to hit a home run, you got to at least swing at the ball. A lot of us sitting on a corner, doing nothing, hanging around with our friends. I just told y'all earlier is what you do with your 24 hours. If you partying, drinking, and chilling, people that chilling never gonna have nothing. People that's thinking, I tell people all the time, we all one idea from being a billionaire. So this the difference. Poor people, all they talk about is money. Rich people, all they talk about is things. Wealthy people, they talk about ideas. And they don't need to have the money. They have the idea, and that idea is gonna get you to everything else you want. So we create ideas. It's not about creating money. When the ideas come to life, the money will come. That's why I say knowledge, wisdom is so important. Information, technology is changing every day. Get off the corner. Get out your feelings. Stop being scared because
you said get out of your feelings, right? You said get out.
Get out of your feelings. Get out of your way.
Your anger.
All that. Think about it, it's not going to change nothing. So it's going to take you to change it. If you really want to be successful, you need to start now. Start thinking about it. Start planning. Have a plan of action. Write it down, what you believe in, your dreams, your goals. You got to have a vision. If you don't have a vision, how you expect to be successful? How do you make it out of poverty? So when I was living in the ghetto, living in poverty, my goals and visions was, I'm gonna make it out of here. Like, I'm not gonna be here forever. This is temporary. So you got to look at it like, put that temporary stick up on your door. I'm not living here forever. I'm here temporary. My real house is a mansion, and that's I did that as a kid. Like, this is not my home. This is a temporary place that I'm living in the ghetto. But I got a mansion waiting on me.
And how did you make the mansion real to you when you were growing up like that? Because if you can't see it, how were you visualizing?
So that's why I said having a plan of action. So think about it. We get out in the middle of the streets and we fight for justice. We fight for injustice, and we march. And I'm saying, okay, well, what's the plan? You got to have a plan of action. So when you get out there, and we get out there strong, you have blacks, whites, Latinos, Asians, we all fighting for what George Floyd been through. But at the end of the day, we showed the unity. We're stronger together. But my thing is, where was the plan of action when it was over with? The plan of action have to be economic empowerment. And so now, with somebody that's living in poverty, your plan of action has to be making it out. How can I take care of my family? And what am I going to do? What am I investing in every day? So I'll always look at it like building a house. It starts with the foundation, building the little bricks and putting them on there, moving and getting better and better. You got to get better and better at something every day. And we talked about this earlier, consistency. What are you doing every day to build that house, to get to your dreams, to get to your mansion, to be able to take your family out of poverty? If you're doing nothing, then you're not going to get there. If you're doing something small, taking little small steps every day, then you'll get there. And then as you grow and get better, and you're going to start seeing your visions and your dreams come to fruition. And I just think, I'm going to leave them with, stop complaining. When I stop complaining and I stop worrying about what other people are doing, and I start investing into my time and did what I need to do, then guess what? I start realizing there's no limit to my dreams. There's no limit to my success. And that's what I call my company. And when I got into the music business, I call myself Master P, because I say I'm a master of whatever I do. And it all comes with education. It all comes with having faith. And that's why I say that, to me, God is so good. And that's why I put him first, because if you have nothing, you have to believe in something. And if you put your trust and faith in God, I feel like you're going to get where you need to go, instead of putting your trust and faith in the wrong people. And my last thing is, don't be afraid to cut people off that's holding you back. You got to get away from the losers. Winners don't hang with losers. Winners hang with winners.
How many people have you cut out in your life along the way?
I can't even count them no more.
Right?
Family members, the friends. I mean, I done cut hundreds of people off that I know that could have been with me, but they didn't deserve to go with me on this journey.
Yeah. And then Percy, if you'd have dragged them along, would you have been able to meet the new people?
No, I wouldn't be here.
They wouldn't want to be with them.
Yeah. So I tell people all the time, some things last for a season. When it's right, it lasts for a lifetime. But if it's not right, it only lasts for a season. So that's the same thing with friends.
Well, let's me and you do something for a lifetime, man. I am so blessed to have you in my life and to hear your message. My family and my businesses want to help the marginalized, the left out. There's so many people in this country, in this great country, that are being left behind. So, Percy, I look forward to this being the first of many things you and I can do together to reach into those communities, those street corners, to make a difference.
Yes, sir. I'm all with that. Salute, my brother.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you being a great example, too.
Thank you.
Hey, your grandpa would be really, really proud of you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Percy.
All right.